What is good, YouTube? Boy Stu here with a video on the future of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and also we're going to talk about some Madem Web stuff. So it's fair to say Marvel's had a lot of misses and some hits in the last few years, with Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 being their main hit, and they've had a lot of movies that have underperformed. Predominantly because there's no connective tissue and nobody cares for the storyline, and also no one cares for the actors playing the roles, to the point now where a lot of actors don't really want to work with Marvel, to the point where nobody wants Sentry, when Sentry is kind of like Marvel's version of Superman. It makes no sense to me why people don't want to play that role. So Daredevil Born Again essentially was going to become Daredevil Born Again, because Daredevil was going to retire after the death of Foggy, and then he was going to be born again and become Daredevil again. So the title made sense, but now they're going in a different direction, and Karen and Foggy are back. How is he going to be born again? And it also seems that predominantly the Netflix Daredevil show is somewhat going to be canon. Not fully, but somewhat canon. So we're going to talk about a bunch of different Marvel content throughout this video. I do appreciate the love, the hate, and the constructive criticism that I get on my videos. We're going to start covering Marvel much more going forward. So, yo, what is good, YouTube? What's you? If you're new around here, let me know down below. What do you think about the future of the Marvel Cinematic Universe? Are you sticking around? Are you going to give them the benefit of the doubt? And do you think that Marvel can return? So, if you are new around here, make sure to subscribe, please. It does help the channel. Become a channel member for less than 99p, which is cool. It helps me. There really isn't much benefits from becoming a channel member. I'm always transparent with you guys and girls, but it does help the War Stew channel a lot. Also, check us out on Instagram at War Stew to see the beautiful face behind the beautiful face. Check us out on Twitter, WarStewG. Right, let's get into it. As I said in the prologue for the video, we will be going over multiple subjects within this video. So, let's break it. So, if you're a Marvel fan, there is still a lot to look forward to. We have Deadpool 3, which at the moment is called Deadpool and Wolverine Untitled. I'm hoping when we get the Super Bowl trailer at the Super Bowl in February, they actually give us the title of the movie, although everyone basically knows what the movie is already about. But it is cool because we have Deadpool 3, Daredevil Born Again, and they're the two projects that most people are looking forward to. The Thunderbolts, a lot of people were looking forward to it, but the more that comes out about that, the less hype people have, the less anticipation people have. And also Captain America, A Brave New World Order, is getting overhauled again because test screening was bad. And they're trying to make it to Civil War 2.0. The problem with that is Civil War had literally everyone in it. Spider-Man, Iron Man. There was actually built up characters that people loved and had built up trust with these characters over multiple movies. It's just a hard time to kind of replace Captain America, not really given much of an introduction. I know he had a TV show, but realistically, no one cares for that character at the moment. So the original plot for Daredevil Born Again was really bad, and I know a lot of you people get on at me, but it was really bad. So what was going to happen originally was Foggy's death. He died. Imagine killing Foggy. How do you do Daredevil show without Foggy? He was going to die, and then Matt Murdock was going to change the name to Murdock and Associates, along with fellow lawyer Kirsten McDuffie. Okay, problem number one. And what essentially was going to happen was he was going to give up the Daredevil name and stop becoming Daredevil. And it was mostly going to be a lawyer program without the actual Daredevil coming out. And then towards the end of the season, Matt Murdock was going to become the Daredevil again. And it was still going to build up. And I still believe they were going to do this. It was still going to have ties to Devil's Reign. And it was still going to have intertwined connections with what could be Spider-Man 4. So they are keeping a bunch of this, but not really. There was going to be a massive trial of the White Tiger. And I believe the White Tiger will still be involved if rumors are true. Is because of the writer's strike, Marvel Studios executives had time to look at what was actually there, and they've realized it was complete nonsense. And apparently this is according to like rumors and information going around courtesy of trades, but realistically we can't trust trades anymore. Is only last week they decided that in order for the Daredevil show to work, not only do they have to bring Karen Page back and Foggy back, they have to somewhat make Daredevil season 1, 2, and 3 canon and adjacency to this version of Daredevil Born Again. That doesn't mean it's the exact same show, but they're gonna have to pretty much canonize it. And this only happened last week in order to keep the audience, because the biggest part of these Disney Plus shows is no one freaking cares, and people get really annoyed when I say that. It's like the Echo TV show. It had really cool aspects, but Kingpin got bodied again. Kingpin is supposed to be this big vigilante. We're going to get the Devil's Reign storyline. He's going to become president. He's going to set the Thunderbolts on Daredevil and Spider-Man and all this kind of stuff. If it somewhat follows the Devil Reign storyline from the comics. But the problem is, Wilson Fisk, Vincent is such a good actor. He is so good at playing this character. But how do you expect Wilson Fisk to be the street-level Thanos when he got bodied by Daredevil? I mean, that kind of makes sense. He got bodied by Kate Bishop and maybe died, but he didn't die because he appeared in Echo. And then he got bodied in Echo by the main star again. Like, seriously, if they're going to make him the street-level Thanos, they're going to have to turn him into some kind of mutant or something. So now, according to rumors and reports, Marvel Studios will continue to pick and choose what it wants from the past without being beholden to the Marvel Television Creative Studios decisions, essentially. So this article goes on to say, what was not going to be the same from Daredevil Netflix show is now going to be the same from Netflix. They said, without risking of anything being canon. Thus far, we've seen Charlie Cox's Daredevil appear in Spider-Man No Way Home and She-Hulk Attorney of Law. And also something that a lot of people aren't saying is, your boy Charlie's going to have to explain to Karen why he got with She-Hulk. But apparently, season 2 of She-Hulk has been cancelled, which I think that's very misleading because it hasn't been cancelled because it wasn't automatically renewed. Just because a show gets a season doesn't mean it gets a second season. And this is where I think a lot of people are kind of convoluted and don't really know what they're talking about. It's just not getting a second season. It's not been cancelled. It was just a one and done season. So when people come out and say, oh, it's been cancelled, no, I don't really think that was the case. So this is what happened. I really thought that ship had sailed, Charlie Cox said last year about his returning as Daredevil. I thought it was over. It had been a couple of years since the Netflix series had finished. What I didn't know was there was an embargo on the character, meaning because the rights reverted back to Disney, but they had to wait X amount of years until they could use the characters again. And Vincent, who played Wilson Fisk, he and I would chat occasionally on the phone. He said, I'm sure they're going to bring us back. He'd be on the phone, and he thought the guy was delusional. He got let go. He continued. And during he went for a walk with his wife, got back, and he got a call from Kevin Feige's assistant, Michelle, and then that's how everything essentially happened. So essentially, the TV show is being overhauled, and it's canon, but not everything is canon, which is also very fascinating. So now it appears that it will be good if they stick on the same line as the Netflix show, which I don't believe Disney Plus will do, even if they put it under Spotlight, because Echo was supposed to be this savage Spotlight. Now, if you're going to say it's a mature audience, I want it to be the boys mature, not like a UK 15, if you like, which doesn't make any sense to me. So Kevin Feige is listening. He's just going to revert everything back to the way it was done on Netflix, which is cool, because then that means we may get a good show, and then we may get Punisher. But the other thing now is they haven't even introduced White Tiger, and we're getting spin-off rumors about characters that are going to appear in Daredevil, and it's like, it's cool. So they're somewhat keeping some of the material, but they have to change a lot of it, because a lot of Daredevil was going to be based following lore without him actually being Daredevil, which would have I'm glad they've overhauled it. And they've started to shoot this. But apparently they only made the decision 1 week before shooting started to actually bring back the most important characters, which is foggy, but we needed Karen as well. Let's be honest. Them 3 characters together with Kingpin will be sick. So Marvel does not have the credibility that it used to have because nobody wants to play Sentry. So Steven from The Walking Dead, pretty cool actor. I never thought he was good for the role, but it's interesting to turn the role down. Now, this just isn't just happening with the Sentry character. This is happening with the Fantastic Four, because Pedro Pascal has apparently been Mr. Fantastic for a long time, but for some reason they were supposed to start shooting early this year. It keeps getting pushed back. Does anybody want to work for Marvel? No. And then you talk to some of these so-called insiders, and they always say it's a money thing. It's a money thing. Is it really a money thing? I don't know. Because DCU Leaks, really credible page actually, because they've got a lot of stuff right. In collaboration with RPK, although realistically this came from DCU Leaks, they said Stephen basically doesn't want to do the role anymore, and he doesn't. So RPK, in collaboration with DCU Leaks, said that Austin Abrahams from Euphoria was offered the role for Sentry. And to be fair, not a bad actor, somewhat looks like Sentry. Why don't they just pick people that are already big in terms of a muscular physique? Because whoever plays a Sentry, they're apparently going to start shooting in like 4 months-ish. They ain't got very much time. Even if they jump on a cycle, they ain't got much time to get big for the role. Because we ain't going to get a skinny Sentry, are we? Although they could do the costume, a bulky costume and do a Shazam job, maybe. So why don't people want to work with Marvel? It's because of Marvel movies that recently, except for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, Ant-Man 3 lost money, the Marvels lost money, and except for Loki Season 2, Doctor Strange 2, and a few others, I think no one wants to work Marvel because Marvel's not really that precedented anymore. It hasn't really got the echelon level that they had. So it's the same scenario with the Fantastic Four. Apparently, it's all being delayed because of Pedro Pascal's schedule, which I kind of think is complete BS, because when he does the Mandalorian work, he's pretty much a voice actor for the Mandalorian. Now, Last of Us Season 2, I don't know how that's going to work because, careful spoilers, as I will ruin your life. If you've not played the video game, I don't know how they're going to dub that, because in the video game, there's a huge spoiler thing that happens, and he doesn't really play that much of a role. So I think it's going to be very different how that plays out. So apparently he's dropped out of a movie called The Weapons. According to Jeff Snyder, I'm no longer going to say how credible people are because you guys get on my ass in the comments when I say this, right? You should all know how credible scoopers are, but according to Jeff Snyder, Pedro has dropped out of this because of the Fantastic Four. But then again, where are all the other people? It's all right saying these other people are going to play other people in the Fantastic Four, but no one's actually coming out to say that. So apparently, they're going to start shooting later this year. It is said Marvel's pushing filming back to Q3 of this year, which could be between July and September. Cool story, bro. The amount of people that keep saying, they're gonna announce the Fantastic Four casting at San Diego Comic-Con or at D23. They're gonna have to start doing it before they shoot. So people are like, yeah, Vanessa Kirby is locked in as Susie Storm. Is she though? I'm not sure. Joseph Quinn is locked in as Johnny Storm. Is that the case? I don't know. We don't know. Eamon Moss as Benjamin Grimm, the Thing. Is that the case? We don't know. If all these actors are locked in and then I speak to people behind the scenes and like, yeah, it's a money thing. It's a money thing. So Margot Robbie was supposed to be Susie Storm, but that never happened. Adam Driver, Henry Cavill, was Stu, all supposed to be Reed Richards. I don't know if the rumor's true that Pedro is actually realistically going to be Mr. Fantastic, but I don't think he's a good enough actor. He's a TV actor. He's literally freaking everywhere. Get your boy Henry Cavill in there. I would prefer that. That would be much better. So Madem Web is coming out Valentine's Day, and this article is so funny. Sexy Nikita Johnson tells fans they will see Madem Web twice. Interesting. So there is a rumor going around that Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire are going to be in the post-credit scene. They're going to end up in a random place that's going to be the Madem Web universe. And if you know the plot of the movie, that doesn't really make much sense at all. So we know Sydney Sweeney from Euphoria and from a bunch of other movies is also in it. She's a big draw. But I don't know how well this... I mean, there's not really much I can say about this. I know what happened in this movie, but... Okay, let's just read the synopsis. Meanwhile, in another universe, in a switch form from the typical generic, Madem Web tells a standalone origin of one of Marvel's publishing most insane movies. Okay, Cassandra Webb as a paramedic in Manhattan, who may have been given some crazy abilities forced to confine revelations about her past. She forges a relationship with 3 young designated women for powerful futures if they can survive a deadly... Okay, so essentially the storyline, according to leaks, not what I personally know because I can't say anything, is someone's come in to kill baby Peter Parker before baby Peter Parker is born, and they've got to protect the timeline. They've got to protect baby Peter Parker, so they've got to protect Peter Parker's mother, essentially. And that is somewhat the storyline. And that's why everyone thinks that Toby and Andrew are going to appear in it. I mean, I get why you're saying it, and people think, because Johnson has said you're going to watch it twice. I mean, if we look at Morbius, Venom is the only movie in the Sony verse live action that people actually like. So is it going to hit? Is there a real reason? Well, if she's on about like an Andrew Garfield, Tobey Maguire post-credit scene, there's something called YouTube, and most people would just watch it on YouTube, won't watch it twice. But from my understanding, I can't really say anything. But yeah, let's just see if there is a Tobey Andrew post-credit scene. It would be interesting. So like always, I'm going to try and be a lot more positive when I cover Marvel cinematic and Marvel associated content now, because I actually am looking forward to stuff. It's just there's been so many misses recently that it's hard to kind of correlate that and get infused and be enthusiastic when I talk about stuff. Like I say, guys, you know me, I'm transparent. I won't ever fake anything. So let's hope Daredevil Born Again is good. Let's hope Madem Web is good. And let's hope the Fantastic Four is good. And let's hope the Thunderbolt. Let's hope everything Marvel brings out is good, because they've had a really good run. They're just on a bit of a bad spell at the moment. So like always, guys, check us out on Instagram at WarsTude to see a beautiful face behind beautiful face. Check us out on Twitter, WarsTudeG, and I'll catch you in another video very soon. Catch ya later.